So I'm just going to drive this to the byline because we haven't got an overlapping wing back on this side. I'm just going to work it back. And if you look at the radar at the bottom, as soon as you see Davies push to that halfway line mark, that's when you want to go forward. Call the forward in, drop it to him, wait for Davies to pass the defender, and then we've created the overload here. A bit more creative if that is the case. He cut me off really well there. I didn't really know where to go. As you can see, so easy to work passing angles in this formation. The 4-3-2-1. An absolute staple in this game's meta, but with recent patches, I'm finding myself playing with this setup a little bit differently. Today, I'm going to be taking you guys through my post-patch best 4-3-2-1 custom tactics, and then we'll be jumping into a live game, and I'll show you how to get the most out of them. Let's get into it. Kicking things off with the defensive style, we'll leave this unbalanced. Width, we're going narrow as 30 and the depth 55. Since the most recent patch, I'm finding a lower depth, still above 50, but not as high as like 70 plus. I'm finding it's serving me a lot better, so 55 is what I'm going to run with. Build-up play is balanced, chance creation, direct passing. I've really formatted this one to lean into like the traditional 4-3-2 meta as possible, so we're going to run with literally the standard things here. Offensive width is 40 just to tighten up those passing angles a little bit, and players in the box is 6. As far as the corners and free kicks go, just go with whatever your personal preference is. Getting into the player instructions, I'm finding more minimalistic instructions working a lot better on the 4-3-2-1 since the patch. So your striker and your right forward are going to be completely on the default. Then your left forward is just going to be unbalanced, come back on defence. Your left centre mid and middle centre mid stay back while attacking, cover centre on both. And the right centre mid is completely default. I won't stress this point too much because you've probably heard it a million times before, but the reason for the comeback on the left forward and the balanced on the right centre mid is to make them play in a 4-4-2 shape on the defence, which is a really robust defensive shape. As far as the defence goes, centre backs and goalkeeper are all on the default. Our right back is on stay back while attacking, and then our left back is our overlapping wing back who is creating the overload, so they will be on balanced overlap. This is the team that we're going to be using. Let's jump to some champs and I'll show you how to get the most out of the tactics. Let's get into it. Into the game we go. So straight into these 4-3-2 custom tactics. Let's see what we can do against this guy. So, to start off, I'll just pass the ball around for like the first 6 or 7 seconds, just waiting for my team to get into shape. And then once my left back pushes to around this halfway line mark, this is when we can start moving. Work that left back into the overload, drive the byline here, cut it back. I didn't quite mean to put it there, that's supposed to go to Carlson in the middle. That's okay. So you're just tracking back with our forwards, which he's going to do without you controlling him anyway because of that comeback on defence instruction. Going to switch this here. As we can see, if you look at the radar at the bottom, our wingback has already pushed up, available for that switch. It's actually fell to my forward here. I'm just going to drop this off to the wingback now and work the triangles that we've created. Cut it across. Good block by him there. Really good read of the passing lane from him. Once again, wingback's always in that threatening position, getting isolated out wide, and that's where our attacks will start. From here, we'll work it inside. I've red timed the shot, which is a bit poor from me. Again, as you can see, even with the 55 depth, you can still see you're able to press. Like, our line is high. We're kind of giving that opponent that sort of choke in their own half, forcing them to work the ball out as quick as possible, which is fantastic. And that's got to be 1-0. That is 1-0. Like I say, a higher depth I've found to be really not as necessary to work a manual press since the update. It feels like they've really enabled pressing to be a lot more... It's just a lot easier to press. You don't have to actually change as much to be able to do it. I think it was second man press that they boosted a fair bit. I'd have to go back and read the patch notes. It's been a week or two now since I read them. But the reason I've revisited this formation, I know it's quite a exhausted video. There's probably more 4-3-2 and tactics videos than any other on YouTube. However, it is one of the most meta formations. If you ever play someone amazing in champs, the likelihood is this is the formation they're using. So I just thought, because it is one of the staples in the game, it would be one of the better ones to revisit as a post-patch tactics, which we've started touching on more recently on the channel. Just revisiting these formations and obviously improving on the tactics based on the adjustments that were made in the patch. Nice comfortable goal there. He obviously poorly gave it away, but we'll take those all day, every day, because you never know what cheese is going to go against us later in the game. So I'm just going to drive this to the byline because we haven't got an overlapping wing back on this side. I'm just going to work it back. And if you look at the radar at the bottom, as soon as you see Davies push to that halfway line mark, that's when you want to go forward. Call the forward in, drop it to him, wait for Davies to pass the defender, and then we've created the overload here. And you can go for Travellas like so, if you've got a wing back with decent shooting. If you don't, I'd recommend maybe ball rolling and then doing a driven pass on the inside in that position. But either way, it's pretty much a guaranteed goal. Trivelas are so strong in this game. Ball roll driven passes are super hard to cut off unless the opponent is a phenomenal defender. At which point you've just got to try and be a little bit more creative if that is the case. Cut me off really well there. I didn't really know where to go. As you can see, so easy to work passing angles in this formation. That is 4. Getting off to a great start here. Once again, just cutting off those options for him. Drop this down to our wing back. I'm just going to manually send him on his way here by triggering an L1 pass. It's a good block from his Van Dijk. I'm just going to track back with Usaber here to cover for Davies. And that stay back while attacking on Valverde's worked a treat there. Dropping off and winning us the ball back. I'm just going to run Davies down the byline here because I don't feel like anyone is going to catch him. Cut this back, work the ball across, turn around maybe. Good tackle once again. This guy's quite good once he's actually in his own box. But it's very easy to get there against him, which isn't good when you're playing someone like we are, using the 4-3-2-1, because it's absolutely got tons of options in and around the box. So for how this guy defends, this is pretty much going to be his worst nightmare, to be honest. Just drop that off to the edge. Now, don't be frightened to actually play this around the edges. Don't feel like you've got to just like run all the way to the byline and cut it back. That's not the case. Once you're in this position, feel free to turn around and work the ball around these edges like so. Because look, there's so many passing options in and around these edges. So many triangles present themselves, and you can just work it slower like we are here. Again, he's cut us off really well there, to be fair to him. And of course, because we're playing with an overlapping wing back in a 4-back, you will find yourself in these sorts of situations a little bit getting countered. And you will concede some goals because of it, but you will score more goals because of that overlap than you will concede goals because of the exposure from the wing-back going forward. So it is a little bit of a take a bit of a hit to get a bigger hit going forward, but as I've alluded to in the past, that's what a 4-3-2-1 is all about. You give up a bit at the back to get a lot more on the attack. And as you can see, it's a really hard playstyle to stop. This guy is gone. Let's wrap this one up. The 4-3-2-1, as you can see why it's just such a strong force in this game's meta. It's just absolutely flawless on the attack, and the ability to defend in that 4-4-2 shape gives you enough strength to really reap the rewards of that attack without being completely open in the defence like you kind of are with a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. So an absolute mammoth of a formation. If you've got any questions at all, do let me know down below and I'll get straight back to you guys. If you did enjoy the video today, guys, I will link my custom tactics playlist in the description below for you guys to check out. But as always, guys, if you did make it this far in the video, I really appreciate your time. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn your bell on. Take care, guys.